So much, and quite the visual of the story of Decima, because we were looking at big snowfall across parts of Buffalo and the region just a few days, and now you see a lot more rain on the map, and that's still what's left of Decima. And you have that incredible change of temperatures on the uptick here in parts of the Northeast, and we know those are going to be coming down soon enough, right? Manchester right now 47 degrees. You have Montpelier at 34, so some areas still right on the edge. You have to watch those overpasses if you are traveling, those first to freeze. But again, what a visual this is. This is a look at the enhanced satellite picture where we use it to show the clouds, and the different colors correspond to different temperatures. And so the brighter the colors, a lot of time, the higher the cloud tops, the colder the cloud tops. But it looks like we're covered in overcast across the country. No, that's measuring the temperature. So the satellite is picking up on the incredible cold that is showing about the same temperature as high clouds. Really remarkable. But the change up in temperature also stunning. 60 degrees in Atlanta right now, but Memphis at 27. What a story places like Nashville have had. Some 30-degree temperature drop in an hour's time. That puts a lot of stress on people, but livestock as well. This is really brutal. So let's see what's left. We have still some snow to go potentially from West Virginia and through central PA, interior Northeast, like the New York State Thruway, so heads up there. Looks like through this afternoon, like the Massachusetts Turnpike, I-95 corridor will be remaining on the wet side. And then by later tonight, some lingering snow showers, especially around the Great Lakes as they are still open for business. So a little bit of added moisture there over the warm waters will trigger some of those snow showers. Down across the south from Chattanooga, 59 to Birmingham, you have rain, some of it heavy at times, and then that thin transition as that cold air begins to move in. So would not be surprised to see maybe an hour or two of some freezing rain reports out of Alabama and into central Tennessee. We can see the next few hours, though. That is on the move. Eventually, our skies will clear, but that sun is really not going to help us out. Those temperatures will be crashing. You can see those showers hanging around through this evening. Places like Destin and Pensacola, Montgomery, along Tallahassee into towards Savannah, where the warm air is going to hang on a little bit longer. And that's where we could actually see some record high temperatures. Yeah, Florida looking ahead to some record warm.
It was warm in South Florida, right? Miami this morning, 80. It did not drop below 80 degrees. Right. A record warm December morning for you. Dew point 73. Oh, man, it's humid. All right, we got it all for you and still ahead on weekend. That's where the roads turned slick, and it wasn't necessarily obvious because the roads just looked wet. We've been dealing with the flash freeze situation from the Midwest to parts of the Deep South. We'll show you where. But first, looking at the dramatic temperature changes across the country. We go from a temperature right now of 25 degrees below zero. This is the current temp, not the morning low. Was actually colder earlier, to 83 in Miami right now. So a huge temperature change. We got some very, very cold air out there that's been on the move. And with our front, we're going to see our temperatures continuing to drop here very quickly. So 26 degrees is where we're at right now in the Nashville area. They're going to keep on dropping in a lot of spots like Atlanta. You were, what, 70 some this morning? We're going to see temperatures drop into the 40s all through the day. Temperatures dropping off in Jackson, Dothan, Alabama. Your temperatures dropping as well. And then cold tonight. And then also we're going to be looking at a very cold tomorrow as well. Maria, of course, the concern with this quick input of cold air is that we could have that flash freeze situation.
Right. The question is the pavement going to dry fast enough? All right. What a difference a day makes, of course, especially in the South where we're seeing some of those amazing temperature swings.
Several areas have already seen these dramatic drops, as reporter Dave tough out there today. Not getting to freezing, but many spots will behind the front. Of course, that's our big concern for travel today. Into tomorrow morning, very cold morning start, but then the front kind of stalls out. Right. And so we keep the rain around here, and the coldest of the cold doesn't make too much more headway. All right, so we warm up to 23 in Minneapolis. Meanwhile, we have some snow in through portions of Oregon, Spokane, Coeur d'Alene picking up some snow showers here on Monday, and we get to Tuesday, and really that's the mess of the weather on the map, at least on Tuesday. You can see the rest of the eastern two-thirds of the country. There's not much happening as we get into your Tuesday. Now, of course, everything has to move from west to east, so it will. We will see a brief little system coming in through the Midwest here with some wintry weather. It won't be a big, big dumper of a snowmaker. That's right. Minneapolis, 31 degrees with some of that wind to the 20s. All right, so now we're getting into peak travel days. Thursday and Friday will be the busiest travel day for the holiday season. We've got the rain coming in on Thursday. By Friday, it's moving out, likely some colder winds that will affect travel in the east. All right, and we've got some snow on the map by Saturday around the Great Lakes, scattered across parts of the west into the 60s, and Dallas staying in the 20s. Christmas Eve. Justin Michaels in Buffalo, but you can see the challenges a lot of folks have. You know, Buffalo winter
winter weather ready, and there's still some issues that you sometimes can't prepare or adjust to everything, right? So let's give you the currents. We've got some rain in Albany, so New York State Thruway, but you're heading westbound towards Syracuse, and it's a little bit of a different story. Montpelier at 34, Portland at 34, Manchester at 47, and you're seeing the rain. Still some snow to go, and you see that thin line of some of that freezing rain. Definitely concerned about that brief period as the cold Arctic air continues to filter on down. Over the next few hours, you see some snow from West Virginia through central PA, even on into the Hudson Valley and parts of New England before clearing out that I-95 corridor, seeing that rain come to an end by later this evening. Some of the dinner time plans may be in better shape than this morning. And then you still have the snow chances around the Great Lakes by later on tonight. Continuing with that thread of the cold, though, it's going to be waking up on Monday morning in a lot of these places, a much different scenario than what we're looking at right now. And this is a beautiful representation of that temperature story. You see the shades of the orange and the yellow, 60s and 70s, 70 in Wilmington, but there's that dive of Arctic air, 27 in Memphis, it's 5 in Chicago. So when you have a temperature change very quickly happen, absolutely, if there's moisture on the roadway, there's that threat for flash freeze. It's that first step out the door. And think about your mail folks, your delivery people who are going to be out and about tomorrow. Be prepared as much as you can by helping them out, maybe throw some salt down. But it happens when the precipitation falls, maybe the pavement doesn't dry out, and you have those temperatures drop close to or below freezing very quickly, literally a flash freeze. And so with that short amount of time, you're driving along and you may not be ready for it. So we want to get you ready for it as much as possible. So that is our tip for you as we finish out the weekend.
You need it with this cold blowing, and we'll be back with more on this over. And it's plunging into the deep south, so get ready for some big changes. Looking at the Atlanta area, just check some of the burbs north of town. You lost 10 degrees in the last hour. That's the kind of front this is. As it comes through, you will notice that temperatures are going to drop off, and we'll be finding temperatures staying above freezing in the Atlanta area today, but this front coming in with a lot of wind and cooler readings. Now, behind the front, where temperatures have dropped down to below freezing, we do have some freezing rain out there. We also have the concern for the flash freeze that Maria was just talking about, where temperatures are literally blasting in below freezing, and anything that hasn't dried out will freeze. So you got to watch out for those front steps, your driveways. Any wet spots on the roadways possibly could be slippery. All right, so we got temperatures out there that are so cold, and tonight's going to be even colder, Maria.
Right.
But I think the change is the most marked thing.
Right.
It was really warm yesterday in a lot of these spots.
You've got to get mentally prepared.
Yes.
You got to make sure the kids are prepared, right? Still in school in many places across the South tomorrow. Those unusually warm temperatures, though, are going down fast.
Dave Malkoff is right in the middle of it. He's been tracking conditions in Nashville. So, I mean, Dave, overnight temperatures dropped so dramatically. How much in an hour, Maria? It was
68 to 39 degrees, Dave, in 1 hour. And so
no, there is some good that this cold
absolutely,
is bringing.
absolutely.
But let's talk about the cold on the move and the whole storm itself on the move. So this is Winter Storm Decima, and now we actually see a lot of rain out ahead of it. It's been actually mild. Look at New York City starting your morning with temperatures in the 50s, but then there is the cold marching in behind it.
All right, we've been talking travel, right? Yeah. So I-95 is in much better shape than we were this time yesterday, but if you're heading westbound on the New York State Thruway, it's a different story. You're seeing the change. You're crossing right over the front, so that is still going to be a challenge.
And you keep an eye on that temperature in your car. You have a thermometer right there in your dashboard, because you will run into areas where there may not be a lot of precip, but temperatures drop below freezing, and anything that's wet will instantly freeze, the flash freeze. So be cautious of that today. Everything moving through, though, by overnight tonight.
Yeah, and that's when we have some of the chill set in, so be ready for that. But we have been both geeking out about this.
This is really cool. If you have a moment, if you're not sitting and watching, you're just listening, sit and watch for a minute, because this is a really cool satellite picture.
And the enhanced satellite picture is one way we measure the temperature of the clouds, right? So the brighter the colors, the colder the cloud tops. We see that with flare-ups of thunderstorms.
Right.
But this is not cloud cover
Sometimes the satellite is confused because the air is so cold, it's colder than the tops of the clouds, like we have up here in North and South Dakota and Minnesota, where the temperature has been, the air temperature, 30 degrees below zero.
All right, so let's show you the contrast, because it really is spectacular. I can't think of a way to describe it otherwise. Atlanta 58 just a few hours ago in the 70s.
Yes.
So we're starting to the descent. Memphis at 27 degrees, Chicago 5.
And this is a front. This is Meteorology 101 right here. Save this for your class if you're a teacher. You've got all the winds converging together. You've got that cold air rushing in behind it, and out of the front of it, you've got the warmer air. This is a true classic front from all different depictions.
Right. And you can see it with the visible satellite picture too. So much to point out here, right?
This is super
so
cool.
You have the rain, you have the leading edge with that line of clouds right there. But I also love that you can see the fresh snow. That's the visible satellite.
Right.
That's not moving.
So much. Aren't satellites awesome? Yeah, so that's not moving. That's the snowpack. And then you've got the clouds moving out ahead of it and along our front.
I'm sorry, I clicked too fast.
But you can see it on the radar, too. This little line right here. Might have thought that was the front. And I did, but Dr. Greg Postel has taught us that that's actually just a density current that's causing that little bit of clouds.
It's physics and chemistry at work right here. But talk about physics and chemistry. You've got the frozen variety right behind it. So we're concerned about just that brief period of some freezing rain behind all of this, along with the fact that there may be some of that flash freeze, right, if the pavement doesn't dry out.
And you got to watch this little line right here. The National Weather Service, actually, when this came through Atlanta, they were warning there could be some brief wind damage, maybe even a brief tornado spin up. So, you know, got to watch for especially the winds with that little